seen. Huh. Hi, Cobb. Okay. Everybody, welcome to Legacy, the horse game's first public official reveal stream. I'm here with Lydia, my co-developer, and we're going to answer, just display the game, walk through it, play a little bit so you guys can see gameplay, and answer any questions you may or may not have. So, I am going to switch scenes for just a second while I move things around. Okay, we're back. So first thing is I'm going to actually log into the game. That would be a good first step. And there's still a few bugs. So, hey, Thorgal. There's still a few bugs. So expect to see those as we do this demo. We're still early alpha, pre-alpha even. So there will be things that we'll run into, but for the most part, it is a near complete game. So this is where you would land once you've logged into the game. I have my profile here and I have all of my ranches, which I have quite a few. When the game is live, you will start with a single ranch. And I do care. We can do that. Thank you, Thorgal. Thorgal was just letting me know that the text was a little bit small, so we just enlarged it. And I can do that too. Anyways, so this is where you log in. You'll start with a single ranch, and then additional ranches will be a subscription. We're still finalizing the prices on that, but you can have as many subscription ranches as you'd like, essentially. Right now, everything is just demoing anyways. So the first thing I'm going to do is kind of show you guys around. In order to go into ranch and see any of your horses, you have to click into a ranch. So I'm just going to click into my paints ranch. That brings me to the ranch page where normally I'd see notifications if I had any. Right now, I don't have any notifications. None of my horses are sick or injured. Well, they're pregnant, but they didn't just get pregnant. I didn't get the announcement because they've been pregnant. I have had no deaths, which is good. Here's where I can do imports, and I'll show some imports here in a little bit. So we have regular imports and custom imports. I'll go into that here in a little bit. And then the, hey, Dan. Then all of the pasture management, barn management is down here. And I'm going to go into that here in just a second as well. The thing everybody is here for is the horses. So I'm going to go ahead and just click on my horses page and show you my horses on this ranch. So this are all stock body types. We don't have the artwork for every body type in the game yet. We have stock, most of warm blood, some baroque, and some draft horses in the game. But we are working diligently to get as much into the game as possible, as quickly as possible. So I have here 2 mares and 3 stallions. My mares are both pregnant. You can tell from this little icon, which if I go into the horses page, you can see a bigger version of it. We'll go ahead and go back to the horses page for now. And it's just pretty much straightforward. It shows how many horses I have total. This is the all horses tab, but I have them separated into pastures and a barn, pasture and a barn. And there's a really important reason for that. And that is if you have more than one stallion in a pasture, they will actually fight and could potentially injure themselves, each other, and the other horses in the pasture. And when I say potentially, I mean it is very, very likely. Almost 100% certainty. So yeah, I can go and actually have all of them in a barn right now, which is fine because they are all in a barn. They're in separate stalls, no big deal. But if I wanted to, I could easily move these mares into a pasture, which I will most likely do tonight as we play. couple other things we have is the events page, which will take just a second to load because there is quite a few of them. But this is where you can go to shows and see your results. And I'm just going to ask Lydia, do you remember the discipline, the game month, or the any of that on your shows that have run, or have they run?
I have not run any since you've wiped it.
Okay, so we don't have any shows that have run, so I can't show you that page today, but I can show you if we go to, so we're just going to go into barrel racing. We're going to go into the first level. So there's 4 levels of our show system. I guess I should back up a little bit and let you know how many disciplines we have. So we actually have, and I actually have to count them because I can never remember off the top of my head. So 13 disciplines currently, and a 14th planned, but it may not be in the alpha version of the game, and that would be in hand. And the reason why that's only planned is because it has to be tailored to individual body types, and we're still kind of working that system out. So yeah, I'll choose my discipline. I'll choose a level. It's one of 4 levels. The shows are unique compared to other games that are similar to this one in that there are NPC horses as well. So there is a limit on how many horses can enter a show. And if that limit is not filled, the game fills it with NPC scores. They're not actual horses. You can't go see their page, but they are scores that are generated within the range that's appropriate for that level. So you'll definitely want to put your horse in the level that it is appropriate to be in. And then we're going to go ahead and do an open one. We're going to do one before the entries close. So we've got a barrel racing open AM show. So we're just going to take a look. And that is where we can see the show date, the name, the entry fee. So for this one, it's just over $300. First, second, and third place prizes. But more importantly, this is where I can enter my horses. So I'll go ahead and enter stallion number 36. And there he appears. And this is where any horses that were entered in the show would appear. So that's the show system kind of in a quick and dirty layout. The next thing I'm going to show you is our public studs page. So currently there's only one stud up for public study, happens to be one that I own. But you can click on his page and go and breed to him. We also have the public semen page, which is a little more interesting because you purchase the semen and then you would go and breed it from your ranch page, which I'll show you later. This is my horse as well, so I'm not going to purchase the semen, but that is an option. I knew one of you was going to do that. They, in case you can't see the chat, Lydia, they are enjoying the phrase public semen as much as we did. So the next thing we're going to just go over really fast is the sales page. Looks like our banner is a little bit broken today. That is unfortunate. But we have classifieds and auctions. There aren't currently any horses for sale. I will put one up for sale tonight, and we'll go ahead and look and see how that works. But that's the overview of the game as far as navigation and whatnot. But we're actually going to jump in and play. So I'm going to walk through what I would be doing on a given day. One thing we should probably talk about is the time, how much time passes. What is the term I'm looking for? The time line of the game. One real life day is equal to 1 month in game. Currently, we have that cut in half. So it's 2 real life or 1 real life day equals 2 months in game for testing purposes. So that's something to be aware of during the demo today. But normally it'll be 1 month equals 1 day. So what I'm going to do is I have mares that need to be bred. And I have this ranch here, this paint ranch, that I want to import some custom imports to, as well as a foundation import. So I'm going to start with that on my paint ranch, and I'm going to go ahead and import another paint. You can see we have a lot of breeds. I believe the total is 41. I would have to double check that number, which I can do rather quickly. 44. I was wrong. There are 44 breeds in the game. And that's across 9 body types, correct? Right, Lydia? 9 body types?
So, yeah.
Yes. So I am going to go ahead and pick the American paint. And then I need to choose either a pasture or a barn to put the horse in. Right now, they're separate choices, but I'm going to actually combine them. So it's a single drop down. I'm always going to choose a barn though, for me, because if I put a bunch of them in the pasture and forget to move the stallions out, they will get injured. And something I didn't mention before, there is the possibility that your mares can get impregnated from a stallion. And the possibility is there's a check if a stallion breeds the mare, and then there's a check if the next stallion breeds the mare, and there's a check if the next stallion breeds the mare. So there's a really good chance that a mare will end up pregnant if you have multiple stallions in the pasture. It's not as likely if you're using that as a means to breed your horses. It's not as likely that they will get pregnant via that means as it is doing a live cover, which I'll show you here in a minute, and or artificial insemination. So first, let's just go ahead and import this horse, and it's been imported. And then we're going to go ahead and do a custom one here. So I'm going to choose the breed. I'm going to choose, again, the barn. I have a bunch of stallions, and you know what? I'm going to check and see what... We're just going to go to our horses page in a new tab here. I got another mare. I got a gray mare. So I've got some... Yeah. Technically, yes, you can do that. You can artificially inseminate your mare with private semen. I'm not going to go into more detail right now about that. It's all for science, guys. Got to remember. It's all science. So I have 3 stallions and 3 mares. I can't remember what I'm breeding for on this ranch. I'm going to just look at this mare really fast and see what her stats are. And she does not have a talent. Just to go over the page really fast, which I haven't done. So these are the performance stats. We've got agility, balance, intelligence, jumping, speed, stamina, strength, and sure-footed. The max, this white bar here, is the genetic potential that a horse has. And the gray bar is the current value that their stat is at. So, for instance, intelligence, they're always going to be at the max value. However, agility and whatnot, they're not. Like everything else in our game, what their starting value is, just like their max value, is 100% genetic. So it's not random at all. They do start at a certain percentage, just like any foal would come with a certain amount of ability. This here indicates how many gaits they have, which I'll show you a horse with 4 gaits later tonight. This horse only has 3. And then, of course, we've got personality and talents. Personality is across 6 traits: desire to please, energy, playfulness, responsiveness, spookiness, and submissiveness. And this horse here is actually a really pretty good personality. I'd like her to be more submissive. I'd like her to have higher desire to please. But the main thing I'm happy about is her spookiness is pretty low, because spookiness is something that impacts your training and your show scores, as well as what jobs are. And all of your, not all, some of the personality traits impact show scores and training. And most of them impact what jobs are available. And we'll go into jobs here in a little bit. And then these are the talents, which you have charisma, cow sense, determination, grit, judgment, and steady. And each of these affect different disciplines. For instance, charisma is reining or dressage. Cow sense is cutting, obviously. Steady, I believe it has to do with pulling, how much weight a horse can pull. They give a little bit of extra. Am I right on that, Lydia?
That's actually endurance.
Endurance, sorry. I always get steady and determination mixed up. Steady is grit is endurance.
Grit is their speed.
Speed, okay. This is how complicated our game is. We have a hard time keeping things straight ourselves, and we have to go through our notes quite frequently. But the point is that they each affect specific disciplines, and we have wiki pages on that we're working on. And I know I should have turned that off. But yes, he should be watching this stream right now, but he's being mean and playing Apex instead. Somebody should go yell at him for me. And in case anybody was wondering, a notification came up that my friend was playing a game. Anyways, we'll get back to management. I just wanted to look at this horse's stats. There's no special talents, so there's anything that I'm leaning towards. I think I was going towards barrel racing with this ranch, but I just jumped into it, so I can't quite remember, but let's say that that's what we're doing. Either way, I want to do a custom import. I want to get some chrome on this ranch, so we'll go ahead and do a mare. I'll probably do 2 mares and a stallion. I am partial to bay and black. Actually, seal brown with dilutions is my absolute favorite, but I think I'm going to do a bay because I'm hoping to get a mahogany bay. No, it isn't not a pony. A pony has to be less than 14 hands, I believe. And less than 8?
14.2.
14.2. Which Lydia might be able to talk a little bit more about this, but all of our body types will fall within the appropriate. Let me restart that. All of our breeds will start with the genetics for the appropriate body type and will not. The only way you'll be able to breed them into another body type is to crossbreed them, which would create a grade horse. And which is totally fine. There are some of acceptable crossbreeds. I don't know how many off the top of my head, but for instance, we will have Quorabs, which is cross between a quarter horse and an Arab, Morabs, which is a cross between a Morgan and an Arabian. Paints can cross with quarter horses and you'll still get a paint. Same with, I'm trying to think of some of the other breed crosses. Again, all of this will be in our wiki. Welcome, Rain Dance. Also, Junior, thank you for joining us. I do have Clydesdale. Well, I don't have Clydesdales yet. That might be tomorrow's stream. Also, Kenyon, hi. Welcome. So yeah, I'm gonna go for a bay. I'm not. I lied. We're gonna go chestnut. We're gonna go double cream. So we can choose 2 dilutions here. I can choose my base color. I can choose 2 dilutions. Each dilution affects 1 allele. So I can either choose double cream, or I could choose double pearl, double champagne, or I could choose dun and cream, and I'd get 1 allele for dun and 1 allele for cream. But I'm going to choose double cream. I am not going to choose a modifier, even though I love them. I have a picture in my head of what this horse is going to look like, and I am going to choose Tobiano, and we're going to go ahead and import it. And some of the formatting and stuff is still a little bit wonky, so sorry for that. We're still working on tweaking the front end a little bit, but as I said, the game is a little bit buggy still. We're working on it. I'm going to go back to my horses page here, and we're going to see what we got. And this lady is gorgeous. Love the blue eyes. Love the I love chrome on the gold. I just do. I love it. So let's take a look at her stats. She is pretty agile, okay balance, decent intelligence. Speed is meh, and sure-footed is meh. If I'm breeding for barrel racing, and I'm trying to remember off the top of my head, I believe it's agility, intelligence. Thank you for the follow. Whoever just followed. Kenyon. Thank you for the follow, Kenyon. That always startles me when it makes that noise. And Lydia didn't hear it. So just so you know, Lydia, when somebody follows me on Twitch, it makes a chime in my ear. And it's really loud. And Rain Dance just did it to me again. And it startled me again. Yes, you guys can hear it. But Lydia doesn't have the volume on the stream on. And Dan followed too. Now you guys are just trying to distract me at this point. No, seriously, thank everybody for the follow. I appreciate it. Yes, this mare is moderately thin. I'm glad you brought that up, Cobb. So that's something that I can talk a little bit about as well. Horses have a condition score, and it ranges from emaciated to extremely obese. Is that what's the term that we used?
Fat.
Just fat?
Extremely fat.
Extremely fat. Yeah. So emaciated to extremely fat. Thorgal, I will get to your question in just 1 second. So she genetically has a predisposition to be an easy keeper or a horse that tends to gain weight more easily, or a horse that tends to start with that's a little bit harder to put weight onto, is the best way to. That's not exactly accurate to how we designed it, but it's the best way to explain it. So this horse started moderately thin. Based on the feed that we put her on, what exercise she does, whether or not she's pregnant, will all affect her condition. So like a pregnant mare needs more nutrition and more calories. So you need to put her on a different type of feed. Okay. We're having technical difficulties. Okay. So going to go back and re-answer Thorgal's question. Yes, I am okay. Nothing exploded as far as I'm aware. The boom boom was probably the dog in the background. Still buffering for Kenyon. Also, don't mind squeaky mic. I just realized I'm peeking. Yeah, you might have to refresh. You can't hear me because you're not on the stream. It wouldn't be. Okay. Hi, Kindle Man. Thank you for watching. So okay. I thought I was peeking, but I'll move the mic closer again. What I was saying is imports do come in at 3 years old so that you can start breeding immediately, because that's the bread and butter of our game, and we want people to be able to jump in right away. But horses that are born from existing horses obviously are born at 0 years old, 0 months old. Although there was a bug where briefly they were born for 1 month old and we fixed it. But it's fun, the bugs that we get. Some of them have been a little funny. Okay, so back to playing. Feel free to ask questions while I do this. We'll stop and answer at any time. Yeah, it's not a bug, it's a feature. Is it down for everyone? YouTube at the same time.